If you were to go to almost any location in America, you would see lots of ordinary men. And while there's nothing wrong with being ordinary or living a mediocre life, this type of life isn't for everyone. Look a little bit harder, and every now and then you will catch a glimpse of a man who chooses to live an extraordinary life. And this is what you would call a high-value man. And this is a guy who is in a league of his own, and what sets him apart from all ordinary men is simply the choice to do things a little bit differently. Now, you might already be living your life like a high-value man, or maybe you aren't and would like to start. And to do this, it is useful to know a few things that high-value men never do. And with that said, let's get right into it. Now, you probably already know that in life, high-value men get far more choices when it comes to women, careers, and pretty much all of the things that a man could want. So first up is number one, and this is something that you'll almost never find a high-value man doing. Think about the last time that somebody said something to you, most likely another guy or even a girl, that was very insulting, but not insulting enough to make you want to punch him in the face. How did you handle it? The way that low-value men handle such a situation usually involves one or all three of these things, which are possessiveness, aggression, and jealousy. And nothing screams low value to the ladies like regular displays of these three emotions. Now, the truth is that we all experience jealousy, aggression, and possessiveness. But the difference between the low value man and the high value man is that the low value man simply cannot control himself, and he allows himself to become consumed by these emotions when they occur. Now, honestly, there aren't many other things that will turn a girl off faster than displaying these emotions regularly. And men who are of a higher value or caliber than ordinary men rarely ever lose control of themselves and display these emotions. Now, next up at number two is another thing that high-value men never do, and it also happens to be one of the most obvious signs that a guy has no game. And this thing is fumbling your words. Now, the thing about high-value guys is that they have a ton of social experience, so they're able to speak quickly, clearly, and cleverly without fumbling over their words. And men who are viewed as low-value tend to stumble over their words quite often around women and have great difficulty coming up with something to say. And this is something that a man of value will rarely ever do. Now, at number three is something simple that will have a dramatic impact on whether or not you're living your life as a high-value man or as a low-value man. And it is something that has to do with your appearance. You can almost always spot men of a higher caliber firstly by their appearance, because it usually has a distinguished look to it. Most men of value sport a defined look that says that they care about their appearance, but not too much. Low value men, on the other hand, tend to care too little or too much about their appearance, which makes them extremely unbalanced. Now, the stock exhaust system on my C7Z06 is a great example of what high value is, because it's not too quiet but also not too loud. And like the appearance of a high caliber guy, the sound produced by this exhaust is perfect for the goal that it seeks to accomplish, which is putting a huge smile on my face every single time that I put the pedal to the floor. Now, next up is the fourth thing that high value men never do, and it's not being able to make decisions. When you're with a girl or friends or family, how many times do you ask them what they want to do? Or how many times do they say, "What are we going to do?" and you say, "Whatever you want to do." High-value men almost never do this because they always know where they're going in life and what they want to do. What a man of low value doesn't realize is that every single time that he asks direction from other people as to what they're going to do, or whatever he says, "We can do whatever you want to do," or "Go wherever you want to go," or "Eat whatever you want to eat," he's basically saying, "I can't make decisions for myself, let alone anyone else, and I have no clue what I'm doing." But he is also subtly seeking their approval by sacrificing what he wants to do just to make them happy. And this is yet another thing that high-value men never do. Now, next up is the fifth thing that you'll almost never find men of value doing. And it's something that millions upon millions of men do every single day without even realizing it. When I was younger, I was hanging out with this girl from my school that I really liked, and I was at her house out in the front yard. And for several hours, she had been playing with my balls that I had brought from home because we used to always throw baseballs back and forth in the front yard. And at one point, her older brother came out and stepped into the game. And I'll never forget, he looked at me and said, "Are you going to just stand there, or are you going to throw me the ball?" And for some reason, this random moment has stuck with me throughout my life. And whenever I feel like I'm starting to become passive in anything, I think of it and it sets me straight. Something that low-value men are notorious for is being passive, which means to accept or allow things to happen to you without an active response or resistance. Which basically just means that you're a guy who stands around letting things happen to you rather than taking control of it. And being passive is something that high-value men never do. So many guys go through elementary school and middle school and high school and even college as passive, low-value men. And even if you don't recognize it, there is a very hefty price to pay for being passive or asleep at the wheel in life. And you will only discover this price one day when your car finally crashes. So grab the wheel now. Don't be a low value, passive man, and take control of your life, because it's never too late to go from an ordinary, low value man to an extraordinary, high value one. And these are 5 things that high value guys never do. And with that said, I love you guys, and it means so much to me that you keep coming back to watch every single video. And until next time, thanks for watching.